Tell you that it's cool.
That everyone's doing it.
That you can stop anytime you want.
They'll say it makes food taste more.
Peace to your family. I'm going live today. While I'm here, just here for just here to discuss with you a few things. While I'm here in Dallas, I'm about to be out of here soon. And one of the things I want to discuss with you is the death of the alpha male. Something going on with the alpha males. We're near extinction. The alpha males in the black community. And I'm going to tell you why. We have a misinterpretation of what it means to be dominant, what it means to be aggressive. A lot of people have it confused. A lot of people really misconstrue what it means to be a strong black man. And we have more challenges today than we've ever had in quite some time. Because the concept of us being free has suggested one thing to us and really represents another in this day and time. So we at loss. Therefore, I want to just go over a few things from my perspective, and hopefully it's shared and we can take it into consideration. Today, I was in a space where actually an older man who really should be ashamed of himself, he was attempting to speak ill of me, speak negative to me, talk real reckless, talk real crazy. And I'm here like, it was through text, which is even more insane, because a black man texting another black man, using name calling and suggesting negative things, is very effeminate. But I do believe he thought he was being a man. And then I suggested maybe we could link up in person and, have a cup of tea. He totally disregards that, and he continues on with the vulgarity. And so I always say I reserve my right to lose my mind for the presence of my...
Someone out there is killing puppets.
You want me to pull my gun?
No, unless you're talking about your wiener. The Happy Time Murders, rated R.
My family, more especially in the case of my wives. If I should ever lose my discipline, that is to say I have to talk louder than I would want to. If I should get a little lost and out of control, I reserve that right to be in a relationship with someone who can touch me like that emotionally, where I want to lose my mind. I will not give that to a black man, especially a stranger. Only a woman that I'm in love with, where I'm willing to come up short and say, man, out of anger, out of hostility, out of a lack of discipline, I've raised my voice. I've lost my mind. I slammed something. I'm not giving that to another black man. We gotta have rules. There gotta be levels to being the so-called alpha male. There has to be levels to it. You can't just be alpha male to everybody in the same capacity. That's a fact. That's a whole fact. You can't do that. That's a whole fact. So one thing that we have to consider is this. Black men have to stop thinking that if they curse somebody out or they call them names, that means something. The brother paraded himself around the idea. He said, such and such called you a bitch on the internet. You ain't pull up on him. And I said, dear brother, you're older than me, you should know better than this, but perhaps you don't. The response you're looking for me to give when someone calls me a name is the response of someone who doesn't have a life. Don't mistake me for someone who doesn't have a life. Okay? I put in my work, I paid my dues, I did my banging. Of course, naturally, this is coming from someone who never went to prison. I asked them. And it doesn't mean that you gangster if you went to prison. It's just another school of thought. And I didn't go to prison for no weed charge either. Anytime I've ever been locked up, it was because of something greatly significant and violent. That doesn't make me more gangster than anybody. It just gives me more experience and more understanding of myself, because I know how far I'm willing to go should the confrontation get too volatile. So when you go through experiences like that in life, what you're supposed to do is learn from it and not revisit it. And if you should have to revisit it, not under the same circumstances or on the same pretense. When I shot somebody, it was because they called my wife a bitch. So I'm not going to have the word bitch separate me from my family again. Just the word. I'm not going to have it. Whether it's directed at me or someone in my family, I have to think better because my family's on the line. So what is the glory in demonstrating manhood if I risk my freedom or my life because someone chose to use profanity, as opposed to live to see another day, to be a husband and a father to my family? And that's what black men gotta understand. They got the game twisted. They really think that being an alpha male is about being reckless and undisciplined, but I'm telling you, being an alpha male is more about exercising patience during times of adversity. It's harder to exercise patience.
Big time
it's
game.
harder to exercise discipline when you're confronted with adversity. It's harder to do that. Especially when you know you're the type.
You're an alpha male, big time? You're talking about alpha males and the diminishing of alpha males here in America. And what is... Why the alpha male is... Alright, this is Brother Polite. The near extinction of alpha males in the black community. Oh, somebody called you a bitch online. You ain't say nothing about it. Just because somebody called me a bitch, that don't mean shit. I don't give a fuck what you say about me. You can say whatever you want about me. Don't put your hands on me. And don't fuck with my money or my food.
Put in pain. If you know what? I don't let people disrespect me. And you letting people slide. Salute to you, black man. You're actually being disciplined. Because it's harder to refrain from violence when you know you can be violent.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is, do you got it?
Like my neighbors a couple weeks ago, got white neighbors look me dead in my face, in my eyes, and say, "You ain't nothing but a fucking nigga." You know what they want? The reaction they wanted from me is that overly aggressive, angry black male to come up and try to start a fight or put my hands on them or something just because they called me a name. That way they can call the cops and send me to jail. No. I'm too smart for that shit. If that's the best you got, that's your best ammunition, is calling me a nigga, you fucking whack. That's all you can do is call me a nigga? That's corny as hell. I'm just saying. Mike. But yeah, like he said, Brother Polite said he went to jail because somebody called his wife a bitch and he shot him. Like, that ain't shit to shoot nobody over. But he realizes that. He understands that now. You know, it's that overly aggressive, angry, violent male that was coming out that's been, like, bred into us. But that shit don't make you tough. You know what I'm saying? That shit don't make you no real man. That shit don't make you no alpha male either. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what you say about me. I mind like that motherfucking dude in Florida. The old white man shot him in the chest. Look at his teeth. Yes, I have all of my teeth, and they're nice. But yeah, the dude in Florida, so the white man was in the parking lot cussing at the dude's wife about being parked in a handicapped spot or something. The black dude comes out, being an overly aggressive, overly hyped, supposedly alpha male, and he shoves this white dude to the ground. And what the white dude do? He pulls out and fucking puts one in that man's chest. Once again, was the black man wrong for trying to defend his family? Hell fucking no. If I walk up on a situation and some stranger is ramming at my fucking wife and my kids, and I don't know what the fuck is going on, I'm stepping right in between that shit. Like, yo, who the fuck is you and what the fuck kind of problems you trying to start? But I'm not gonna initially put my hands on you if I haven't seen you physically assault any of my people or myself. I ain't gotta put my hands on you. A foot long gap, really. A foot long gap, huh? This is the best you got. That's your best trolling, right? That's your best trolling you can do early in the morning, bro. That's the best you got. Once again, you have a foot long gap in between your teeth. It doesn't matter, bro. Because my smile is better than yours. My teeth are wider and straighter than yours. I have no feelings. You see, most people open their mouth and you see all them little black spots in their teeth because they don't brush their teeth and they don't floss. So they got to go to the dentist and get holes drilled. My shit ain't like that. I'm 37 years old. I still got all my teeth. You know what I'm saying? And my smile is incredible. Look, that shit is nice. Look at my smile, yo, from any angle. If I hold it down, if I hold it up. And look, I got the cute little dimples. Yo, my shit is nice, son. Your eyes are so far apart. Dude, you're saying the weirdest shit, bro. Why are you evaluating my appearance? You think I'm handsome? I know you do. Your eyes are far apart. You have a gap in your teeth. What? You know what? I'm not a virgin. I'm not a virgin, so no matter how far my eyes apart, how big my gap is, the bitches like it. But you watching me. And you talking to me. I'm the best thing in your life right now. At this very instant, this moment in time, I am the best thing in your life. The best thing right now. It's so good you can almost taste it. Cause you ain't got shit else to do and you ain't got nobody else to fucking talk to. But you're gonna sit here and use your time and your energy to physically pick up whatever device you're using to send me a message. Cause you don't have anything else in your life at this moment that is as entertaining as I am. I'm the best thing you got right now. And you will forever remember me. Not just this afternoon or next weekend, but for the rest of your fucking life. You will remember for one instant I was the best thing that you ever saw. The best thing. And you will never ever forget me just because I'm telling you. You won't. And this is a fact. You won't ever forget my face, my far apart eyes, or my gap teeth. You know why? Because you're so anxious and you're so desperate for somebody to recognize you as a living being, to actually admit that your presence even exists. And I'm doing that. So I'm fulfilling that empty void, that space that you really need. I'm doing that for you. I am acknowledging that you exist. And for that, you will never, ever, ever forget me. Death kiss. Death kiss. It's not a roast battle because this dude he's a poor troll. You're very, very poor at what you're attempting to do. There's no synergy in it. There's no flair. There's no originality in it. You're not exciting me in the slightest at all. At all. Not even your cancer. That doesn't even excite me. You know? It's like you're very plain. You're very plain. Very plain. And you're still looking at this beautiful smile, ain't it? Even my laugh is infectious. It makes you want to laugh, don't it? When I laugh, you want to laugh. I know. Wait. Don't be mad at me. Yo, motherfucker, you come in my stream thinking you the shit. That shit never plays out the way they think it does. Oh man. Oh man. I get the wackest trolls, man. I don't get it sometimes. I don't get it.
The second thing is, can you suppress it or let it subside? Because the means doesn't just
hack away.
That's
think this the only account I got?
Black man in this day and time. Because when you get locked up,
hack you.
As if you can't vote. So
I'm not gonna fucking screenshot this and send that to Sony.
They can't have a say in the municipal elections to vote people into office that eventually vote the higher tier into office. Those are their electoral votes. It's all constructed. It's all set up so we can be so overly emotional. That's why part of the game is to make sure there's a broken family household. There's a gender-specific war amongst men and women. So the man is mad at the woman's mad at the man is out. The woman has no love for the black man, so she doesn't have any empathy for him and what he goes through. He's pissed off with her as well because she's unruly and undisciplined and yelling and cursing and screaming, putting her hands on him, trying him. And so he has a story that nobody wants to believe, that she's physically violent and he's overwhelmed by her physical acts and violence. There's a lot of stuff going on that doesn't get discussed.
So it's called auto gravity?
New, used, to all models.
So many options. It's everything.
So what happens is the man is not in the household. So the woman, who's not used to the man being in the household, now has to adopt a man's mentality on top of her female mentality. She been pretending to be daddy for so long without a father in the house that when she gets into a relationship with a man, she's talking to another man like she a man because she's been behaving like a man for so damn long raising her children. She had to invoke the spirit force of the masculine energy in order to raise her son or her daughter to the best of her ability. So much so.
This motherfucker say plant my corn. Like you Motherfucker say plant my corn like he a farmer. Don't you know we got illegal immigrants to do that shit for you? To plant your corn? Plant my corn before I get my belt, boy. Want me to go get my belt, boy? Man, they got Mexicans to do that shit now, boy. Fuck wrong with you? Nah. You know what? I might have your kids planting my motherfucking corn. I might have your kids planting my corn. How about that? Boy, shit changing, man. Y'all motherfuckers, this motherfucker he had a, Mike called me a nigga, but it got blocked so y'all can't see that. You know what I'm saying? This is America, people. But shit changing. Y'all know by 2050 you gonna be a minority, right? Right, Mike? By 2050, you will be a minority. You will be planting my fucking corn. Your kids will be planting my corn. Think about it. You plant my corn, bitch. Your kids gonna be cleaning my house. White supremacy don't need white people no more. Y'all think cause you white, you got it made, you just gonna ride off into the sunset? No, you're not a part of the bloodline. You're not a part of the 1%. The 1% don't need all these white people either. They don't need you. They don't give a fuck about you. You in the box right with me and telling me to plant your corn. Bitch, your kids gonna be planting corn. While the 1% sitting on the top of the hill watching you. And you know what kind of corn it's gonna be? It's gonna be Monsanto's Roundup Ready corn. You gonna have your kids planting that shit, motherfucker. They give a fuck about you. You think you special. Calling me a nigga. Bitch, you just as much of a nigga to the 1%. Everybody a nigga. You in the same boat. You ain't nobody special. That's why you ain't got shit to do but sit on PlayStation and call me names. Bitch, you ain't doing shit with your life. You ain't doing nothing. Nothing. But what tell me to plant some corn and call me a name? You a fucking scrub. You fucking scrub. Plant my corn. Plant my corn. I get my barrel. You ain't doing shit. You sitting in your house drinking a fucking beer on PlayStation. Not even promoting art, or promoting education, or even starting debates, or even conversing with someone on such a lower level than you that their ignorance is just obvious. You're not even doing any of that. Who is though? This guy. This guy. And once again, just like the other dude, I'm the best thing you got right now. The best thing in your life for this moment, for this very instant. You have nothing else. I'm your fucking God right now. And listening to this conversation about alpha males, you want to see a real alpha male? And that's what you don't like about me. For some reason, like, you can just see it as soon as you look at me, like, damn it, this is a man. I'm going to have to tear down his demeanor. Plant my corn before I get my belt. It don't work on me, bruh. Because I know the facts. I know all the statistics. I know the psychological history. And you're fucked. You're basically fucked. Oh, and you know it. Subconsciously, like deep down. It's like nails on a blackboard, but way in the distance. You can still kind of hear it. And that shit is grinding and it's gnawing at the back of your fucking brain. Because you know your time is up, right? Y'all know that, right? And it's scary. It is scary knowing that you're fucked. And basically you fucked yourself. You did it to yourself. It's fucked up. It doesn't matter how old they is. The truth is the truth. And I like it when they be young. Because I know most of these trolls are fucking under 25. But these the ones who need that truth. That real education. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to educate everybody, not just adults. You know what I'm saying? It's better to educate the youth. Let them soak this shit up early in life. So when they run into a motherfucker like me in person, in flesh, face to face, they'll know what a fucking real man is. Because all they ever meet is little boys like themselves. And that's why they have these little boy trolling comments. Because you're not in real life with me right now. You're not in the room with me. And if you were in the room with me, you wouldn't tell me to plant no corn or you'll get your belt. Because you would fear me. And if you didn't have an outright fear of me, you would have a fear of my reactions if you said or did something that I disapprove of. And that's everybody. And that's almost any situation, because every day of your life, you don't just walk in the grocery store and slap the shit out of the dude pushing the shopping carts. And you know why? Because you don't know what the fuck he gonna do if you slap the shit out of him. And that's why I like these trolls who come in here and say all this dumbass shit, because they know it's not real. You're not in the room with me. And if you were in the room with me, you would be a little boy, a little bitty boy, a little teenager, just like you is. And stay in your spot. If you keep these little trolls keep acting like this, you'll never be an alpha male. You'll never reach that shit. And it's fucked up because obviously you don't have any alpha males in your life to give you no training. You just ain't born an alpha male. You know what I'm saying? Nobody born that shit. You gotta be educated and trained up. And so the trolls stop and Mike stops because there's no rebuttal for the debates.
That spirit has taken her over, and now she might be more man than she is female, technically, in her response or approach to the world. And now she can't even keep a relationship with a strong man because there's no space for a strong man in her because she's a strong man too. Somebody got to be a little bit more passive. And so now we're missing the man in the household. The woman is raising the man. He's becoming more feminine by the day because he's growing up with a bunch of sisters or being disciplined by a female. And that's going to have a psychological effect because sometimes sisters go too far in their discipline of men. And then the men get older and dislike sisters because of the way that they were demeaned or undermined by the women that's in charge of them.
As a reminder, your camera allowance is
Facts.
one camera bag and one personal item only.
That's a fact. These are all facts. Yeah, definitely share the video. So now what happens is you can't tell a man nothing without him wanting to kill somebody or shoot somebody, and he thinks that's gangster. Somebody say something to me, I'm gonna kill him. No, that's you being weak and oversensitive. You and your feelings. You don't gotta kill somebody because they said something you don't like. You don't gotta fight somebody because they said something you don't like. So when this trash talker was texting me, going off Twitter figures, texting me all this crazy talk, and then when I say, yo, you know what? Let's see each other in person. I got the resources. I'll come talk to you in person. Let's see. Let's have a build since you're now talking about my family and everything. And I'm like, all we got to do is build. We can meet in a neutral spot that's comfortable to you. I just want to talk to you man to man and see what's this really about because you don't know me personally. To even say something so crazy about my little girl. But he would tap dance around it and ignore it again. And that's when I say, you know what? Let me not tempt myself into getting into a situation where I got to speak even more aggressive in hopes I can get the right response so I can try this man. And so I said, man, that's enough for me. Let me get out of it. Separate from that, I mean, I didn't use no vulgarity. I don't use name calling. I will refuse to do that with anybody, especially if they are not my wife. That makes no sense. So, men don't bring people's children into conversations either. Real men don't do that. Real men don't bring children or even other women involved. Real men just deal with each other. And real men don't have to kill each other or fight each other because there's a misunderstanding. Real men can just say, you know what? I'm going to separate myself from you. I'm going to see you when I get to see you. Oh, brother, let's see if we can talk in person after we calm things down a little bit through a phone dialogue so we can meet each other under better terms. See, it takes more discipline and it takes more strength to think. It's very easy to be reckless and irresponsible and jump into the first thing that comes to mind, which is normally the worst thing when it's a volatile situation. When your emotions is inconsistent and out of control, you don't normally want to jump into the first idea that comes into your head because it's probably a bad idea. So generally speaking, you have to have the strength, man strength. You got to have the strength to suppress all that aggression, all that testosterone, and say, you know what? Let's see if we can come to terms, and then maybe perhaps we can follow up thereafter, either in person or through another phone call. That's how men are supposed to behave. That's men. Because if you're out of control like that, with other men over the phone and everything, you're going to lose your mind when you get a chance to overpower a woman. You're going to go crazy. If you can't control yourself under those circumstances, you're going to lose your mind when you're challenged by a woman, because a woman going to challenge you.
He said, I can't stop writing really cool raps. Bumper reefer never go because it leave you out of pocket. Yo, this dude said I've been going bad for days. That's what's up.
Ways
I put some beats on it.
It's just ridiculous. You can't even express it. And that's why I'm saying you got to control yourself as men. Because you're going to be challenged.
I got the opposite of writer's blood. I got writer's blood.
Whether it's mentally.
My fucking mind is just flooded right now.
They operating on a whole nother level when they disagreeing. And if you can't control yourself as a man, you're going to lose your mind.
Opposite of writer's blood.
It happens to the best of us. It happens to all of us. It's a fact. It's a fact. You got to have some discipline. You got to have discipline. If you don't have discipline, it's a wrap for you. It's a wrap for you. You gotta have discipline. You know, men are sending you all sorts of dirty, negative messages, but they won't see clarity. They won't ask for clarity. They'll just curse you out, talk negative. That's what we're dealing with in this day and time. That's what we're dealing with. So we got to rise to the occasion. We got to think better than that. We got to think better than that as a people. We got to think better than that. Like I said, it takes a whole lot more to have that negative energy subside or to suppress it than it does to confide in it and let it go irresponsibly. It takes a lot to say, you know what, I'm not going to deal with that energy. It takes a lot to even be able to sit there and subject yourself
to it. Got some superpower.
While it all goes on. I'm telling you, and this is stuff that you got to learn, unfortunately, not just through books, but through experience, and hopefully other experienced people can talk to you and confer those degrees to you before you respond in haste.
But the man going in, that no.
Never let those modes of intemperance convert you into something else. You got to be proactive. You got that which is reactionary and that which is proactive. So soda, if you shake it, is reactionary. So when after you shake soda and you lift the top, it spills out. It becomes less than itself. The content in the bottle is less than it was prior. That's how that works. And then with water, if you shake a bottle of water and you lift the top, the same amount of content is in the bottle that was there prior to the shake that would be after the shake. Does the water experience the shake? Yes. Does it identify with the shake? Yeah, you can see some of the bubbles. But the content itself, the bottle doesn't have less than it had prior. So you got to be proactive like water. You don't want to become less than yourself because of the action of somebody.
Did this motherfucker use a soda water analogy to define your temperament? What the fuck? That shit was kind of deep, son. You gonna be reactionary like soda, you gonna be stable like fucking water, nigga. Absorb that shit, go with the flow. Are you gonna let a motherfucker anger you so much and get you so agitated when you pop your top, now all your content spilling every way, and now you're actually less than what you were before? But on the other hand, you agitate the fuck out of water, try to pop they top, the water just like, nah, I'm calm, I'm good. I'm still full, nigga. that's damn, he came up with that shit on the fly, yo, that's crazy.
Picking you up. Soda is reactionary. It's going to be less content in that bottle after the shake. And that's how many of us are. We wind up losing ourselves after we've been shaking.
Some water.
And then now we got to remind ourselves about our structure and our discipline. And then it takes us time to build that whole thing back because now we second guessing ourselves. Now we got to go around and saying sorry to people because we overreacted. And then now people are going to use your sorry against you. And why they going to use your sorry against you? Because they've been waiting to catch catch you slipping because they knew you was a discipline. So the whole vibe of this was to catch you slipping. The whole reason they driving you nuts is because they want to catch you slipping. You know, I find myself in times where I be subject to people that they know I'm not ignoring them, but they know I'm not falling for the BS for today. And you know what they'll do? It's like they get upset and they want to push you off. That's what this thing is about. Planet Earth is a heck of a... Planet Earth is serious. You got people on planet Earth that want... You got people that get upset because you're not falling for the BS. You got people that get upset because they see that you're conserving your energy and you don't want to go into an outburst. But you know what happens? If you're not disciplined enough, you'll explode, and all of that patience you had is balling up so you can explode. But what you got to do is say, all of this would be for no reason if I in turn have this explosion. So what you got to do now is say, once you know, this person is looking to provoke me. This person is looking to say things to take me to the next level. You got to conserve your energy.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, this is a completely full flight. Your carry allowance is one carry-on bag.
It's a fact. You got to control yourself. Black man, you got to control yourself. This world is set up and set your way to use your emotions against you. And I hate to see younger men respond a certain way, but damn, it's sad when you see older men respond a certain way. Don't bite the bait. You're going to have so many different challenges come to you in this world. And most of your challenges is going to be within yourself, not nobody else. It's not going to be the white man. It's not going to be the black woman. It's not going to be your employer by whatever title these people have. It's going to be you versus your own emotions. That's what this is about. It's you versus your emotions. And we lose often, quite often, because we don't get taught that. We like to say, yo, look at you, you're emotional. But we don't see the way we respond to the world as well. And nothing wrong with emotions. It's a form of intelligence. But you got to know how to legislate that. You got to know how to execute that intelligence. You got to know when it suffices to use it and when it suffices to let it subside. You can take that same energy and you can emotionally transmute it. You know, I used to have a very bad temper problem. So what I learned to do was study a language whenever I found myself angry. To the point there was times I was studying languages inadvertently. More likely because I was angry and didn't even realize it because I was transmuting the energy. Every time I was upset, I said, let me study the language and defer my attention to something that makes me have to think. And in turn, I wound up speaking 7 languages. That's emotional transmutation. So you gotta learn to transmute our energies. Or I'll commit what I believe seem to be life doctrine to memory. Whenever I try, I make sure I pull out. I always have a book nearby that I think is.
That's why I stopped writing, man. It's too hard for me to write. It's hard. It's hard for me to write, yo. Like, I'd rather paint. Painting is easier for me. But that's like, honestly, I went hard for like 3 years. All that shit right there is probably like my last 2 years. Like my first year, I ain't really keep a lot of my notebooks, man. We weren't really doing shit, man. Like recording ourselves at home and shit. You know what I'm saying? I lost really all my very, very, very first recordings. I don't even have no copy. There's no copies of that shit, yo. We was doing that shit on the karaoke machine back in the day, making cassettes. This was before motherfuckers was even burning CDs and shit. But the last couple years I was writing, like that's my shit right there. that's like a couple years of work. No lie. That shit is hard for me to write though. Yeah, but that's all my shit, son. And a lot of this shit has never been heard by nobody. A lot of this shit I never even said out loud. I just wrote it down. Just thoughts from my head and never even said it out loud, ever. 8 bars, 2 bars, 2 bars, 8 bars, 4 bars. Shit, that was 16 bars. They got chopped down to maybe 4 usable bars, 1 bar, like 4 bars. Little short 8 bars. Bunch of bullshit. A 16, some little revisions in there. Another 16. I guess a 16 that really didn't make the cut at the end. What, 2 bars? A 16, 8. That's 2 and 2, 4 bars. That's like a 16 with a lot of revision. An 8 bar with a lot of revision. 16, a 16, a 16. Yeah, and it goes on, bruh. And this is just one tablet. This is just one notebook. And now, yeah. I wrote, like, people think, and my freestyle's crappy as hell. I know when I freestyle, it's kind of whack. Because I don't know, I love music, but I wasn't never really good at that shit. Like, I gotta write. And I admire real freestylers. When you hear Funk Flex and the 5 Fingers of Death challenge and 5 Beats of Death and all that shit, those are all written verses that these guys have memorized. Like, freestyling, literally, at that moment, that's some difficult shit, son. And I know a couple people who can do that shit, but for me, I gotta write. And even when I write, it's hard for me to write, yo. It's just like, this shit is not easy. You sit here for days and you listen to the beat, to the same beat for 10 hours, like, what the fuck? And then some guys can listen to the beat twice in like 30 minutes and have some shit written. And I'll be there like the next day, like, scratch that shit out. Like, what the fuck, man? And then at the end of the day, like, most of my raps still were just like average, mediocre at best. You know what I'm saying? At best. And which is fucked up because a lot of the shit in my hood at the time was trash. You know what I'm saying? Now, we was like kind of mediocre, alright music, and there was a bunch of trash around us, so we should have been shining like hell, but for some reason we couldn't really shine. This shit right here just sounds good. I can't write anything but fire. It's like a sickness, man. I'm ill, son. I'm ill with it. I was on some shit, son. Once again, I'm not even gonna let y'all hear that shit, son. Like, I don't even say it. I don't even say that shit no more, man. Keep my old shit in the stash. Just in case I might do have to drop some shit again, boy. Don't think I ain't got material to go back on. Notes and everything.
I be at Killerville, niggas like, Venom, where the fuck you been? Then I come to Flowtown, niggas be like,
this was my first single off my mixtape.
Trap, where the fuck you been? Then I go over to Dollar Town, niggas be like, yo, Gorilla Print, where the fuck you been? And I look at them like, nigga, I ain't never left. I'm right here in South Carolina, bitch. We still rollin', we still ride. South Carolina, we still flying. All of the fire that y'all keep buying. I'm the king of the jungle, y'all just lying. I got a new speeder, me and my heater. We still rollin', blowin' smoke out the speaker. Speeding so fast that y'all can't see us. Sonic boom, blowin' air bubbles out the speakers. Jeepers, creepers, I'm a creature. Beat your white beaters till your wife starts screaming. You going off that gas, acting nutty like semen. Don't pass shit if it ain't good weed, man. I'm on fire, y'all just dreaming. South Carolina, soldiers cheapin'. If you want beef, then y'all gon' fry. My G's ride, that's no lie. Camouflage, system inside. J's on my feet, J's on my ride. 9/11 kamikaze, I'm so fly. It's cold pimpin' over here, niggas do or die. Cause we still rollin', we still ride. South Carolina, we supplying. All of the fire that y'all keep buying. I'm the king of the jungle, y'all just lying. We still rollin', we still ride. South Carolina, we supplying. All of the fire that y'all keep buying. I'm the king of the jungle, y'all just lying. Sipping on that gin and juice, now I'm getting loose. Mix up blood of that purple haze, now I got a boost. Talking all that bullshit like you the truth. Now I gotta shoot a root of food in his tooth. It's back to the booth, back to the beats, back to the trap house, back to the streets. Back cooking cocaine, back serving fiends. I shoot you in the ass till you're back on me. I get my bitch a daiquiri in a bag of weed, and we fuck all night like I'm trying to make a seed. I'm getting ratchet calls in the scene. You call the police, I'm calling my G's. My gun's so big that it's called a machine. And I'm half baked, still calling for weed. South Carolina gonna blow in due time. A couple thousand in my pocket and $1 million on my mind. Cause we still rollin', we still ride. South Carolina, we still flying. All of the fire, y'all keep buying. I'm the king of the jungle, y'all just lying. We still rollin', we still ride. South Carolina, we still flying. All of the fire that y'all keep buying. I'm the king of the jungle, y'all just lying. Hands on the block, still working South Crack. Never catch me slipping, I'm shooting with my gat. I'm up in the VIP, you sneaking in the back. I'm smoking with the owner, you sneaking in the sack. I'm creeping in the sack with a bit so bad. My brain real good and the ass real fat. And then I switch gears cause I like it real fast. Hugging on the curb like I'm whipping a jag. Got a clip in a mag or a snitch in a bag. The mortician got a bag and a toe tag. Fuck with that C, you be resting in peace. Just hand me the heat, do the rest up to me. I push your wig back like a pack of that beat. Hand me that word, watch me hustle these fiends. Hustle this crack rock, hustle this weed. Hustle this music, selling CDs. Cause we still rollin', we still ride. South Carolina, we supplying. All of the fire, y'all keep buying. I'm the king of the jungle, y'all just lying. We still rollin', we still ride. South Carolina, we supplying.
Man, like I said, this shit 10 years old literally, but I ain't fucking. That's why I keep this shit right here. It's the first painting like that really got me on a roll, with made me start back with my art shit. 2009. I started back painting in 2009, and right around the time I did this shit, that's when I stopped fucking with the music, man. After I did this first painting, I was like, that shit is fun, you know what I'm saying? And I just started back painting and just wrote less and less and less and less, and it's like, I don't know, I just focus on my on this portion of my art, because everything is art, you know what I'm saying? Writing is artistic, that's it's being creative, you know what I'm saying? And music is poetry, you know what I'm saying? And hip hop is some of the best fucking poetry ever. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. And I got a whole fucking stack of tablets right here that let you know, nigga, I analyze lyrics. That's why I can't get with this new shit, honestly, because these kids not saying nothing, bro. They not saying nothing. They rhymes are so hollow, shallow, superficial, and like I say, my music had violence in there, but my MCs still try to drop a little jewel in every track, you know what I'm saying? To let you know, like, yeah, I live a fucked up life, but don't do it the way I'm doing it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like these new cats, I don't know. I can't get with that shit. And so when I listen to music, I analyze that shit, because I done wrote dozens of goddamn songs. I done paid, thousands of dollars for studio hours to go in the studio and record my shit. I know the whole process. And no, I'm nowhere near good. Like I say, my shit is mediocre at best, but I understand the process. I know what the fuck it takes. You know what I'm saying? I understand the time and the dedication that goes into that shit to try to produce a good sounding project. But at the same time, now it's like these kids just get famous off of nothing and get paid out their ass off that shit like that. Nigga, I was writing good music back in the day compared to some of y'all shit. I can listen to my songs today from almost 10 years ago, and that shit still sound pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like, will you be able to listen to Tekashi 6ix9ine in 10 years and be like, oh yeah, that shit is hot? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's weird, yo. It's weird how the sound has changed. Like, I can still listen to some Ron Isley, the Isley Brothers, and that shit still sound good, you know what I'm saying? But this new music, like, I don't think that shit is gonna sound good. It's Travis Scott music, that shit gonna sound good in like 20 years from now, man? I don't know. I can't even make it through one song, like a whole song. I try to listen to a couple of his shits, and it's like, what the fuck is this? Wait a minute. What is this? I can't. It's rough, bruh. This music is rough on me. I said I put my little bit of time in there, man.
For your freedom, you know you need to. The system won't change unless my gladiators bang. For your freedom, you know you need to. Bang. The system won't change unless my gladiators. I got shot, nobody got caught, nigga got cooked, nobody did shit, so we buy more guns and sell more gay, cop new cars and rock and change. And who made the rules to the game that we play? Maybe the ones who did the slave trade. 15 locked up, real statistics. 15 pregnant, the shit's realistic. Childhood fun, too bad that you miss it. Corner, trap, stuck in the system. Corners, blocks, project buildings. This is the way that we raise our children. Teach them how to steal and about drug dealing. They're blind to the facts, so they need our healing. Welfare office, back to the ceiling. The kids have the kids, and the kids keep killing. Bang, for your freedom, bang, cause you know you need to. Bang, the system won't help unless my gladiators. Bang, for your freedom, cause you know you need to. Bang, the system won't change unless my gladiators. Balls in my hand and we push my pencil. Why we so poor, gotta push the issue. So we sell drugs and pop them pistols. They made it hard, the life that I've been through. Biggest gang, police and politicians. If you know Latin, it's right there written on the back of a dollar. Rule or order, teach the truth to our sons and our daughters. Fundamental passage, trapped in borders, been holding back. It's time to get over. Knowledge is power, weight on your shoulders. First like water, then like steel. Shadow skills, it's strike like a cobra. Bitch, we do it, but we need more soldiers. Bitch, you know it, but you gotta decode it. These are the last days and it's been coded. For your freedom, you know you need to. The system won't change unless my gladiators. For your freedom, you know you need to. The system won't change unless my gladiators. I'm saying I got the whole hood handcuffed, trap or die. Let me see you throw your hands up, bang on the system, till my hands cut. Ready for admission, soldiers stand up. Gladiator music, starting a movement. Gotta educate, motivate a movement. Overthrow the government so we can move in. Push to the lizard, just look at it, scan it. 33 presidents next up is scanning. We don't bank now, it's never gonna end. Been going through the shit for too many years. Until I make a nigga cry a lot of tears. We sold the drugs that they brought over here. Show you try, nigga, hide your fears. Time to ride like 18 wheels. It's almost over, the time is here. Bang, for your freedom, cause you know you need to. The system won't change unless my gladiators. For your freedom.
I even was talking about Bush. Bush was the president when I wrote this shit. That's how old this shit is. Y'all peeped that, right? Like, Bush was in office. That's 2 presidents ago.
Been going through shit for too many years, all in the movement. My when I thought it go with a bitch, we do it. But we need more souls, the bitch, you know it. But you gotta decode it. These are the last niggas in this big poet.
No, fool, that's me. Bone Thug Love. That's tight name though, yo. Yo, Bone Thugs was my shit back in the day. Creeping on the Come Up, East 1999. Damn, what came after that one? They did that war shit. Yo, that shit with them and Tupac. Okay, the original version of Bone Thugs and Tupac, that shit is hot. But then you get the Swisher House chopped and screw version of that shit. Oh my god, so that's, to this day, that's probably one of the best songs ever. Like that Swisher House chopped and screw, Bone Thugs and Tupac. My fucking god. Yeah, that was me. that wasn't no Santana, that's me. I'm in the middle holding my pit bull. Yeah, overthrow the government so we can move in. Bush is a lizard, just look at his skin. And 33 presidents next of his kin. If we don't bang now, then it's never gonna end. That's when I was on my David Icke, the reptilians shit, you know what I'm saying? Talking about people in power, reptiles and shit. That's what I said, you know, look at his skin. Bush is a lizard, look at his skin. And then when you think about how many, the bloodline of the presidents, and 33 presidents next of his kin, you know what I'm saying? Like the presidents, most of the presidents who of this country have been, you can trace all these motherfuckers back to like King Henry VIII or some shit like that. These motherfuckers are all cousins. Even Obama is a part of that same fucking bloodline, yo. Yo, for you to envy. But yeah, like I said, I was writing that shit when Bush was in office, and then at the end of this song, I give another like time period reference. So like 9/11 was 2001. We invaded Iraq that next year, basically 2002. And on this track, I think I said we've been at war for 5 years, and so that was like right after that insurgency in Afghanistan, what Bush did after fucking 9/11, yeah.
Presidents next of the skin, if we don't bang now, it's never gonna end. Been going through the shit for too many years until I make a name to cry out of tears.
Nah, this ain't even my whole project right here. I put out one mixtape that had 20 tracks on it. This right here is basically the best tracks that was on that mixtape, and even out of the ones that I have on YouTube, there's probably only like 6 of them that are really good. But so yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel, it's just my regular name, Travis Prince, and you go to my playlist, and you can see my Trap House mixtape, and it's 12 songs, and so that's the most music you can hear from me at one time. That's the only shit I've ever really put out there, and it's for free for anybody to listen to it. Like I said, this shit is old, never really did anything with it, you know, and I kind of like it because it's mine, and the shit still sounds good, and, you know, so I encourage people to listen to it, and y'all can check it out up there for free. You ain't got to buy the shit, but it's not all the songs I've ever recorded. I have like, I got about 29, I probably got like 30 tracks recorded. I just never, like, I did this shit before YouTube like was really popular for me anyway. Like SoundCloud and all that shit wasn't around when we was doing this shit. We just going around town passing out our mixtapes on CDs and shit. And so when I realized like the music wasn't going anywhere, I got like all these fucking CDs of our music, and I'm just trying to preserve this shit because it's studio hours, man. That studio hour costs money, and it's, you know, a part of my life. Like I put a lot of myself into those projects, so I just try to preserve them. And one of my this master mixtape was getting scratched up, so I did download this one and made a digital copy of it. And that's why even on YouTube you get through some songs and they got scratches in it, And that's because my master CD was getting fucked up. I was like, oh, so I had like, I better do something, make this shit a digital format before I lose all of my material completely, yo. I got like tons of nigga. I was in the studio like weekly. I'm telling you, bro, I was in the studio weekly, trying to really trying to do that shit, you know, but never. Yeah, that's what's up, yo. Why did I stop? Because it got to a point where, I don't know, me and the guys I was rapping with, we kind of had a little falling out, some disagreements. I felt like some people weren't being as proactive as I was, and that's why when you hear, if you go through my mixtape, these 12 tracks, I'm on every fucking track, and most of them are solos. And it's like, guys, you're not doing as much. I'm buying beats, I'm buying studio time, I got a stack of material, I'm writing, and it's like, I don't know if I was saying it wrong at that time, because I really had to apologize to my homies after the shit fell apart, but it was like, I just told motherfuckers, like, y'all niggas ain't working as hard as me, nigga, like, what the fuck, bro? And I really felt, at that time, that's how I really felt. And for, you know, at the end of it, it stopped being fun. And at the same time, like, I was tired of writing about fucking gangster shit and calling bitches hoes and all that shit. That was getting so annoying. And I'm trying to write different shit, and I'm asking my dudes, like, let's write something different. Oh, I can't write about that shit like you be doing, man. You be reading all the books and shit, nigga. You be on that smart shit. And then, like, and so I really did try to change my style of music. And once I did that, like, nobody really fucked with me at all. Nobody wanted to hear that shit at all. So I was like, well, fuck that shit, man. I'm just paint. And I'm better at painting anyway. I sound like I'm pissed off a little bit because I am, but it's like, it's all good, man. I don't know, writing, I always say this, writing is hard for me. Writing is a challenge, is a struggle for me to write any kind of material that I'm even, like, remotely satisfied to let anybody else hear. It takes me so long to get that. But I can paint. I can paint it right here in front of y'all, and it's like, that shit is natural. That shit just flows. And so, like I said, at that time, I was like so disenfranchised with the music and how the shit was going. And even I bring up the topic again, I'm from South Carolina. We're in the middle of North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, and we still don't have like a major hip hop artist. Why? And nobody can figure that shit out. And so it's just weird. Like, the music scene in South Carolina is so fucking weird. I just gave it up. I was like, fuck it. I'm not putting no more energy into this. I started back painting. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people don't know, like, most MCs use falsettos because their normal voice is not good. The motherfucker from House of Pain, I was watching one of those rap documentaries, and the lead rapper from House of Pain, he said, yo, his manager's like, dude, your voice sucks. You gotta do something. So he changed his voice into this little raspy shit. You know what I'm saying? And even Kendrick Lamar and a lot of rappers, they use falsettos because their regular voice is fucked. But you don't really hear it until the first time you hear yourself record it, like, professionally. And it's like, I sound like that? What the fuck? It was like, wait, whoa. That's me? And so now you gotta ride your voice a certain way, breathe a certain way, and then you gotta stack your vocals to get that certain sound. And this shit is not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy being in the studio. Yeah, and the first time you hear yourself, it's like, wait, whoa, huh? I don't like that. I don't like how that sounds. And most of, like, I swear to God, like, out of this mixtape, I probably like 6 songs, honestly. And a lot of them, and most of the songs I like, the audio is so bad because the producer didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And I'm like, dude, you're charging me $30 an hour. And on one of these tracks, if anybody knows music, the producer left the metronome on the track. I went to go get my copy, like, the finished product, and I told him, I'm not paying you. You burn me 1 copy of everything we recorded. You delete all of my sounds off of your board, and I'm not paying you for this shit. It sounds like fucking shit. You wasted my time. You wasted your fucking time. Give me 1 copy and make sure you delete my shit. I don't want you having my shit. And I'm telling everybody, don't come fuck with you, bro, because you're whack. You're whack. I'm not paying you for this shit. Nah, man, I'm not paying you. How the fuck the metronome is on the fucking song? How the fuck I can hear the metronome on the track? Dude, I know that, and I don't even fucking touch the board. I'm not a producer. You're whack as shit. Give me a copy. I'm not paying for this. That's the metronome. You're not supposed to hear that.
My goal in life is to strive to do a little.
That's not part of the beat.
My goal in life is to strive to do a little bit. My goal in life is to strive to do a little bit better.
Who does that?
I know for a fact. I don't do everything accordingly.
You didn't mute the
I do
metronome?
a lot of things I ain't supposed to. The one thing I try not to do though is lie
to the kids.
When my little man come ask daddy a question,
That's not a part of the
I
beat.
tell him the truth every time.
And this is original beat. I paid for original beat. You can still hear it. Then my vocals.
Now with the perfect timing, I'm gonna keep on rhyming.
I know I can't sing. I know my vocals sound fucked up. I told him that auto-tune that shit, make it sound something. I sound like I sound. You ain't even spice up my singing vocals at all or nothing. I'm not paying for this shit. Give me a copy. Delete all my shit. I'm telling everybody you whack, nigga. You whack.
No more truth than that.
You ain't put no auto-tune on my voice. Nothing.
Now with the perfect timing, I'm gonna keep on rhyming. No more truth denying, so my kids can shine like diamonds. Oh, now with the perfect timing, I'm gonna keep on rhyming. No more truth denying, so my kids can shine like diamonds. Oh, if you wanna know the real, you can read the dollar bill. And the truth is so cold that sometimes I get the chills. And this world is so sick that sometimes I feel ill. But the only thing the doctor's gonna do is give you pills, prescribe you this, prescriptions for that. Addiction to barbiturates, man, that's a new crack. And you ain't gotta smoke it all, just take a Marinol. Everything synthesized, that's where we headed, y'all. And they gonna clone all the Bilderberg members. But the phoenix always gonna rise from the embers, like the winter solstice in the late December 2012 Armageddon. Just remember, you're here for a purpose, and your life is worthless if you can't elevate your mind past the surface. Wake up on your chakras, become a new person. You are a living spirit, the creator made you perfect. Now with the perfect timing, I'm gonna keep on rhyming. No more truth denying, so my kids can shine like diamonds. Oh, now with the perfect timing, I'm gonna keep on rhyming. No more truth denying, so my kids can shine like diamonds. Oh, I know 9/11 was an inside job and a lot of people died, but you can't blame a lot. Muslims didn't plant the bombs, don't blame it the Pentagon, but you can't blame Bush either. He was just a pawn, and they hide all of that. Continue to carry on, so searching for the truth is like chasing leprechauns. If you want the problem solved, use brain over brawn. I respect Alex Jones, cause the info was our own. If Barack Hussein Obama was a real savior, he couldn't fight the new world order on his own. And no, I'm not a psychic, but this jewel is priceless. Yeah, this war is gonna change the place you call home. But when you in Rome, gotta do as the Romans. But what about the Mayans, Easter Island, and Stonehenge? Too much pressure and stress can make your bones bend. I hope you do your own research when the song ends. Now with the perfect timing, I'm gonna keep on rhyming. No more truth denying, so my kids can shine like diamonds. Oh, now with the perfect timing, I'm gonna keep on rhyming. No more truth denying, so my kids can shine like diamonds.
Oh. You still hear the metronome. That's not a part of the beat. I wanted to grab this motherfucker by his collar and just throttle the shit out of his ass. Like, motherfucker. Wait till the beat go off. It's gonna be so blatant. That's why I always stop this before the music ends. It's so blatant. It's like.
It just hurt me so much inside.
I wrote this whole song, but my homeboy is singing the hook. You know, that's not me singing, obviously, because he sounds good. But I did write this whole song, and people think it's two different people on it because I was so emotional in the studio. This is true shit right here, bro. I was so emotional in the studio after I spit the first verse, I started crying. Like I could not contain that shit. I just started crying right there. And I was like, I'm done for the night. It's like, nah, nigga, you gotta finish this shit. This is that raw energy. You gotta get back in there. So I got back in there and my voice was kind of raspy on the second verse, but I was like, fuck it, man, keep that shit, yo. This is probably the realest shit, yo.
And I heard the angels say that everything would be okay. She gave birth to my mother, but she raised me like a son. Cause mommy ran the streets all night, having fun. She took us out of foster care when nobody else cared. Family turned their backs and gave her all kind of stares. 55 years old, trying to raise 3 grands. Then she lived by the book, looking forward to the promised land. Genesis to Revelation, she can teach it to you on a faith mission pulpit. She'll preach it to you, show me tough love, and raise me like a man. Never spread a rod and try to help me understand that life is too short to stay with childish ways. And now that I look back, my childhood was great. My grandma got sick and she slowly passed away in 2006, buried on her birthday. Now she can have her flowers without any pain. I was born as a prince, but she made me a king. And sometimes I feel like I lost my love, but I know you always looking down on me from above. I miss Sunday dinners and all that good grub, but what I miss the most is your nice warm hugs. When you died, it just hurt me so much inside. And I cried. Say that everything would be okay. My lost elementary, middle to high school, you told me stay on top of the books and follow all the rules, but I wanted to stay in the streets and follow all the fools. Started smoking that weed and cigarettes, trying to be cool. When I dropped out of school, I know I disappointed you. I moved to Philadelphia trying to make moves, but you always let me know I had a home to come to. When I'm crying on the phone about the things I'm going through, and you told me staying strong is what I had to do. And your words of wisdom would just brighten up my day. And you told me you love me, and I would say the same. And all the good times are burnt in my brain, and I try to fight it back, but the rain still came. And I still feel the pain, cause you're gone to the grave, and I can't see your face, but the love is still the same. And you never saw my son, and I'm the one to blame. When you died, it just hurt me so much inside. I cried. Say that everything would be okay. It's gonna be okay. God bless the dead. Good times are hurt, but the love is still the same.
Yo, the way I wrote the hook, I didn't sing it like that. I can't sing, but I kind of sung the melody. I can't even remember how I wanted it, but he's like, let me try it like this, and he sung it this way, and I was like, yeah, do it that way. But whatever he did with my words, like that shit, yo, that fucking how he say that shit is
on my son, and I'm the one to blame.
He killed that shit, yo. I'll never forget that night in the studio. That shit was called Lost Love. Man, E-Class, we had another song with just me and him on it too. With Friday Night. This song right here is so, it's so cheesy and like, oh my god. But when I think about it, it's just like, why? The lyrics is like, but I don't know. It's not even like a club banger. But then somebody, I swear, like I was like cause we got our little hood popping, and so I take surveys and shit, man. Pass out the new music, ask motherfuckers, yo, which one is your favorite track? And like a couple people told me like, yo, that Friday Night, man. I like that song. I think that my favorite one. I'm like, really? That song? That shit is just like, and then I even fucked up my verse on the recording. It's hard to catch, but in 2 spots. But it was a rush night, and I was like, yo, man, fuck it, keep it, because it's hard to tell. Anyway, I was like, fuck it. But I don't know, a lot of people did say that like this, but that first song about my grandmother, that was just me and E-Class on it. Once again, I wrote the whole song. And then he sang the part that I wanted. And this track right here, I wrote this whole song too, and had him sing the hook. But I think his cousin actually made the beat. His cousin made the beat for him, and he couldn't really do nothing with the beat. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, "Yo, I got an original track, man. You want it?" I'm like, "You damn right, I can have it." He was like, "Yeah, the beat was alright." You know, I was like, "Shit, I was like, get on it with me." He was like, if you write something. So I just wrote the whole Joan, and we did this shit right here.
Friday night, about to hit the town tonight, and you know I got my pockets right. I got a couple ladies with me, let me know you wanna roll, babe. Friday night, about to hit the town tonight, and you know I got my pockets right. I got a couple ladies with me, let me know you wanna roll, babe. We need to have y'all stuck on the same scene. I made enough cream. My Thursday real mean. Now it's Friday, about to ride real clean. Got the girls hanging on every word that I speak. I met a few freaks chilling down at the beach. They say I look so nice and I dress real neat. I say you smell so good, I bet you taste real sweet. Them old full balls just like a OG. I'm smoking on the trees underneath the palm trees. My dress look good when they blowing in the breeze. Little buddy got low, started blowing on her knees, and she must have been a pro. How she made me ski. Sorry to say it's so, but mommy, I gotta leave. But I'll keep the number for the next time we meet. I'm on a little mission, can't slow down my speed. But there's another Friday coming next week. Ooh, Friday night, about to hit the town tonight. You know I got my pockets, so I can go pay whatever. Those angels let me know you wanna roll, babe. Friday night, about to hit the town tonight. You know I got my pockets right. I got a couple ladies, baby, let me know you wanna roll. Every little town got its own little club, so I'ma skip around, try to hit all of them up. Take a sip off my crown, then they Get off on my Dutch. On my way to the club, helping to keep it crunk. But damn, shorty, your body wouldn't let me pass you. Dressed so tight that it looked like a tattoo. So I had to ask you to meet me in the bathroom right after the show. I'm trying to see you that soon. We up so fast that I gave her a heat rash. Pockets full of cash, and then I'm chilling with E-Class. Get the city popping, then we out in the flash. Left foot on the gas, and we having a blast. Y'all niggas all jokes, we having a good laugh. And the sun'll be up before I get back to the app. And I gotta go to work, but I really don't care. With 24 time zones, it's Friday somewhere. Friday on the block. Couple of cars. Hey, got a couple ladies, let me know you wanna roll it. Friday night, about to hit the town tonight. You know I got my pockets right. Got a couple ladies, let me know you wanna roll it. Oh, you might catch me on the west side. You might catch me on the north side. You know what I'm saying? East side. My man right there, same with it. So that's how you know what I'm saying? Coming folks. You know what I'm saying? You can't let where you at. Hurt them up. You know what I'm saying? Hurt them up. Yeah. That's the guy who made the beat, yo. You know I got my I got a couple ladies with me, let me know you wanna roll. Friday night, about to hit the town tonight. You know I got my pockets right. I got a couple ladies with me, let me know you wanna roll with me, baby. You wanna roll with me, baby. Let me know you wanna roll with me, baby. You little buddy, let me get your phone, girl. Yo, buddy. Hey, where you going? Where you going? Fuck that bitch trash. We about to go. Hey, there we go, cuz. Hey. Alright, let me work.
He says definitely it'll be calmed down. Alright, last one. One of my favorite tracks of all time. It's madness out here.
NAU, they wanna take it where I stop and see no posse coming tired that they ain't got no apologies. Now everywhere I go it's like a dark cloud follow me. Got me starting to think that it's hard technology. Now they playing God trying to change the weather. While we stuck in the matrix, still chained together. Getting beat around, kicked down, can change whoever. But I'ma see if I can make a change for the better. I'm the best thing ever to happen to the movement. Cause I'ma use my music to bring the youth in. Roundhouse karate, chop the system like Bruce. Every verse I kick, I be spitting the truth. If you trapped in the box, it's because your own doing. I'm out of this word, you better call on Houston. And all you world leaders, who the hell you think you fooling? Cause you don't give a damn about the state of the union. They all say I'm crazy, going insane. But I'ma speak the truth until I see some change. It's obvious the youth ain't the ones to blame, because parents and teachers are one and the same. They all say I'm crazy, going insane. But I'ma speak the truth until I see some change. It's obvious the youth ain't the ones to blame, because parents and teachers are one and the same. When I start to black out, they say trap you dead wrong. But the system won't change, they still writing dead songs. Break the Constitution till the thing dead gone. I can't believe that slavery lasted this long. And it really hits home when you start to lose jobs. Still looking for the truth, listening to Lou Dobbs. Grab a megaphone, start yelling at a few snobs. I'm a real patriot, guess what? You not, and it's getting too hot. Man, I saw two cops, gave Obama deception and said you watch. Said I sound like Tupac, looking at his new watch. Told me I was loitering, I had to move 2 blocks. Had me wrapped up in chains, shackled down with 2 locks. So I had to shake the machine until the screws pop. Riding around town, putting flyers in your news box. Trapped in the darkness, now we got a new spot. Y'all say I'm crazy, going insane. But I'ma speak the truth until I see some change. It's obvious the youth ain't the ones to blame, because parents and teachers are one and the same. They all say I'm crazy, going insane. But I'ma speak the truth until I see some change. It's obvious the youth ain't the ones to blame, because parents and teachers are one and the same. Your first education starts in the household. Gotta teach the kids, don't sit and keep your mouth closed. Read to them, sing to them, it help their mind grow, so they have a better chance when they let the dice roll. Everything internet, hardbacks are old news, but you gotta keep the new mixed with the old school. Got a lot of new laws, hope you know the old rules, cause a young dummy only grows into an old fool. Guidelines, codex, alimentarius, feeding us poison. prison but won't pay the barriers. 1933, the country went bankrupt. 1935, the bank said they own us. Now we all born with the mark of the beast. Social security number, you better believe that you are private property of a company. So I'ma reclaim myself in the name of peace. Then y'all say I'm crazy, going insane, but I'ma speak the truth until I see some change. It's obvious that you ain't the ones to blame, because parents and teachers are one and the same. They all say I'm crazy, going insane, but I'ma speak the truth until I see some change. It's obvious that you ain't the one to blame, because parents and teachers are one and the same.
Oh yeah, I think I do have two of them, two Instagrams. I keep forgetting about my original account. It's the one with me, I guess I'm squatting reading a book or something like that. Which one is it? My girlfriend reminded me of that shit like a while ago. Like, you got two Instagrams? I was like, nah. She's like, yeah, you do. I'm like, nah, I don't. She's like, yeah, you do. And she showed me. I was like, oh, I forgot about that. It's the one with the black and white photo. That's my main one. Whichever one has. Alright, look, that's funny because on that one of the tracks, I go through all my fucking rap names. Check this one out. If you listen at the beginning, people, because I moved, like, in that one song when I talk about my grandma, I said I dropped out of high school and moved to Philadelphia. Like, all my shit is real rap, nigga, that's real. You know what I'm saying? I left home for a couple years. I came back. And motherfuckers like, where you at? Where you been? I was like, nigga, I ain't never left from right here. So I feel like my heart ain't never left the South. You know what I'm saying? But on this verse, it starts out with when I got back home, everybody like, damn, where you been? Where you been? But people call me different names because I had so many different names. And at the end, like, motherfuckers just call me Trap.
I be in Killerville, niggas like Venom.
That's my very, very first rap name.
Then I Flowtown, niggas be like, Trap.
Yo, Trap.
Where the fuck you been?
And then I go to Dollartown. Niggas be like, yo, Gorilla Prince.
Where the fuck you been? And I look at him like, nigga, I ain't never left.
I'm right here in South Carolina, bitch. So my first rap name was Venom. And even really before that, man, I swear, yo, my homeboy used to call me Sprocket. I don't even tell niggas that shit. Motherfucker used to call me Sprocket. Cause I don't know, man, I was like one of those. I used to listen to like Korn and Limp Bizkit, motherfucking Soundgarden, and goddamn Tool and shit like that back in the day. I remember I used to wear Jinko jeans and all that shit, man. I had this a choker, right? I had this choker, but it was like the fucking Joan off the bicycle, yo, the motherfucking damn. Yeah, I'm telling you. But it's like the chain off the bicycle. You know what I'm talking about, bicycle chain? So somebody took that and just designed it and put a latch on it and like made a choker out of that shit, yo. I thought the shit was cool. You know, I said I was wearing that shit. Yo, my motherfucking man see that shit. He's like, what the fuck is this? You a fucking Sprocket or something, nigga? Like, that shit stuck for a minute. Yeah, I started wearing that shit the same week. I was like, damn. He was like, yo, what up, Sprocket? Yo, spit something, Sprocket. That should be your name. And I was like, man, fuck that. I don't like that shit. Yo, that Tool was crazy back in the day, son. Yo, I'm telling you. I don't know. I was kind of like a rock kid before I even really got into rap. Honestly, like that was my fucking shit, yo. a bike chain choker. Yeah, I was weird as shit, yo. I got this one old picture. I think I was wearing that shit. And then we used to do this shit. Yo, I swear to God, like, you remember in that old Wu-Tang video when they on the subway and shit, and Method Man just got the aviator goggles, but it's like just accessories and shit, yo. I used to rock them shits, nigga. Had like these hot ass aviator goggles. I just put them shits on like a headband, and have some suspenders, but not have them on. Just clamp them to my pants. Have my suspenders hanging down and shit. Yeah, I used to dress weird as fuck, son. You know what I'm saying? And then like the Jinko jeans had the really wide ass ankles on them shits, man. Yo, I just ain't want to be like everybody else, yo. Always gotta be different. But yeah. Yo, Venom, where you been? Yo, Gorilla Prince, where the fuck you been? I ain't never left. I'm right here in South Carolina, bitch. I laugh at myself. You gotta fucking get a stiff ass bike chain. That's what I'm saying though. Like how it was a choker. It was supposed to be, you know, chokers, man. And that shit don't hang down like a necklace or nothing. The choker supposed to be kind of stiff. You just wear that shit. Oh damn! Bring all that stuff back. Bicycle chain chokers to the 90s. Wait a minute, I do gotta hear this shit though. For real though, for real.
Doing this shit from Cleveland to LA, nigga. Whatever you niggas do. I don't give a fuck where you lay at, nigga. It's time to shake these bitch niggas. They ain't even know what type of niggas we is. In my club. I know you niggas been waiting for this for a long time. Sleep to the Armageddon, Lord, and I won't stop by that last and new Toby to pull up my west and you probably sorry, get him up on me, cause sorry, one of us farming and been bombing, and you're better my bed, or I won't settle, get on my living, got me, nigga, that got me fucking up, little pockets, schizophrenic, get buried, die out.
The other shit was sounding weird as fuck. This the one I heard. It's like 15 minutes long. It's not. It's only 7 minutes.
Motherfucking hands on your strap, nigga. Yeah, we can do this like gangsters and slug it out. We can do this like punks and punk it out. Pull your strap on me, nigga. You better kill me. Thug life, baby. Punish for hard living. None to the facts. Drugs is coming from God's prison. Hands in the strap. I'm riding these punished for hard living. Blind to the clubs is coming from God's prison. I'm hands in the trap. I'm punished for hard living. Blind to the clubs is coming from God's prison. Hands on the trains, planes, so far to leave some beauty. Police be rushing when they see me. I'm running. America's most wanted. Live on TV like pleasure and pain. Snuck in his game, calling my name. All gon' die. We bleed through similar pain.
Hey, I still love this shit, yo.
My girl's verse. Heard the last one, niggas. This one's worse. My bones, yeah, home.
Bitch niggas bring it home.
I caught a plane out to Cleveland late last evening. Help my niggas clean up. Some niggas no longer breathing. Yeah, who do you believe in? In the weed and breathing. Cold ass world niggas. Kill you when you sleep. Watch me. Now that they stop me, murder me and drop me. I got love, nation, wild Michael Wise.
This house.
I'm finna bring this shit
I'm finna bring this shit back. Yo, that's why it's so long. They had to bring Pac verse back on that shit. Like, yo, let me do this shit again, man.
I'm punished for hard.
I'm calling it. It's called
I'm punished for hard. Down to the clubs is coming from God's.
No, I don't paint celebrities because everybody else paints celebrities. We already talking about being original. Any celebrity you can name, somebody done painted their ass a couple times. I don't care who it is. That's the obsession with celebrities. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to do the same thing everybody else doing. I'm not going to paint Wiz Khalifa. I'm not going to paint Cardi B or all these other. Everybody already doing it. Why? XXXTentacion died, man. Like 1,000 people painted pictures of him. I'm not gonna do that shit. My shit ain't no different from nobody else. I can't find no picture of Tentacion that nobody else got. I don't have an original photograph of Cardi B that I took myself, that we set up our own photo shoot, that nobody else got this photo. I can't, I can't be like that. Yeah. He has special needs. I'm a crackhead. Born in the 80s, I'm a crack baby. And nah, I don't really paint celebrities. I did it twice, and it was it's not even the celebrity that I did, it's a character that they played. So I painted Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad, and I painted Michonne from The Walking Dead. But I didn't paint them, their real selves, Danae Guerrera, and actually the guy who played Jesse Pinkman, I can't remember his real name right now. But I didn't paint them, I just painted a character that they played, so it is kind of a celebrity painting, but it's not the celebrity. And I probably won't even do that again. You know what I'm saying? It's like, once again, like, how many paintings of Michonne are out there? Like, my shit is no different from anybody else. I gotta paint images that nobody else ain't painting. I'm not trying to paint the same thing that everybody else paint. I can write anything I want and make it rhyme every time. Like Eminem said, I'm mad because people say there's nothing that rhymes with orange. There's plenty of things that rhymes with orange. Kush Button, I gotta get into your stream then, bro. Let me see what's up in there. I might get in there after this. I actually have been talking for an hour and a half. Not even paying. There's not a lot I can do. I really should just set this to the side for a minute. But I can work on his hand. So I may work on his hand for a little while, and that's not going to take a long time. But everything else is really still wet. Her dress is too wet for me to add more details, because I want more detailing down here in the portion of the dress where you can see the lace. But like the white, ooh, that's not too bad. I might be able to do something there. Oh, a little bit. The white is a little tacky. This black is giving me shit because it won't dry all the way. That's still coming up. And I'm kind of done with the skin tones. I can probably do the background again. I can probably do that. Because I want to lighten up the background a little bit. I want the lighter color here to pull out a little bit more away from their bodies to make the aura or the halo bigger, and maybe even brighten up as it fades out, not have it as dark towards the edge, and kind of just lighten the whole background up a little bit. You always want to start dark as you can first, just to see which tones you like. So by me doing that, I actually do. And it's kind of tacky. It's dry to the touch, but I don't want to rush this shit. Twitch, okay. What you playing on Twitch, yo? Yeah, but it's all good. Like on the PlayStation, they just got the button where you can switch over to the, from Twitch or YouTube. That's all I do. Like I can't watch TV, yo. It's fucking, I don't know, man. I got the Fire Stick. I do watch a lot of TV shows, but I just can't watch like network TV. I cannot sit through a commercial. Like, buy this product, buy this product. That shit fucking kills me. And then it's like a 30-minute show turned into an hour show because there's 30 minutes of fucking commercials. And I can't do that shit, yo. So I do watch a couple different shows, but I'd rather watch them on the Fire Stick or YouTube. I mean on Netflix or some shit like that. But like most of the time, I do be just trying to watch other streamers like play games and shit. I was watching, swear to God, damn, I can't think of this dude's name right now. But if who's played The Last of Us? Because I'm getting The Last of Us 2 for sure. The Last of Us Part 2, I'm definitely getting that shit. Who played, I hate commercials, y'all. Who played The Last of Us, the first one? And if you played The Last of Us, did you play the online, the PvP mode on that shit, yo? Bruh, that shit was intense. That shit was intense. Yo, dude, I swear to fucking God, bro. I swear to God. I was watching just gamer videos and shit. Yo, there's this one fucking dude, bro. He does a fucking 1v24 on goddamn The Last of Us PvP. So he goes into the PvP challenge. It's a 4-on-4 mode, right? But his homies kill themselves when the match starts. They kill themselves, and he's standing by himself, and the other team has all their lives and all their respawns, and this dude mows everybody the fuck down, bro. And he does, I watched like 3 of his videos, and he does this shit like it's nothing. I swear to God, yo, that dude was going in. I can't think of his fucking name right now. If you ever played The Last of Us PvP, you know how intense and how challenging that shit is. Just look that shit up. The Last of Us PvP 1v24 or The Last of Us 1v24. That shit'll come up. It'll come up, yo. That motherfucker went in, yo. That motherfucker was going in. Bruh, I know that other team. Boy, he gotta be pissing these dudes off so fucking bad, bro. This motherfucking whamming these cats. Bam, pistol, bam, pull out the rifle, da-da-da-da. Throw a smoke grenade, run up, shake a motherfucker, jump in the house, plant a goddamn mine, jump back out the window, go around, bam, throw somebody else. So, yo, this dude, I was like, yo, 1v24. I was like, holy shit. And I don't know, man. I give that motherfucker props on that shit, bro. You get props on that shit. But that's all I do. I be trying to find like cool ass gamers to watch. I watch one cat who plays Battlefield, because I'm a big Battlefield player, and he plays Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1 a lot. And all right, yeah. Send me make sure you send me a friend request, huh? Yeah, but I cannot wait for Shamu. Man, they've been saying that shit forever, yo. I had Shamu on the Dreamcast, yo. And then somebody kills his granddad. How that game went? And then he had to find a killer. Then you get the job at the docks, and you got the forklift truck races in the morning. Yo, Shamu was the shit, yo. And the combinations on that shit, the little toys you can collect on that shit, yo. Shamu was a fucking good ass game. I missed the Dreamcast so bad, yo. Last of Us, that Spider-Man, those are good games, bro. And that's the thing, like, there's so much, like, it's gonna be so much content at one time, dude. Like, I can't buy all these games anymore. It will distract me so bad from my art. I'm really just looking at Battlefield 5, The Last of Us 2. Just those two games, that shit I'll put enough hours in those two games to last me for a while, and I'll just watch you guys play. I'll just watch everybody else stream Red Dead. I just have to do it that way, because I'm not going to be able to have enough time for all these games no more, dude. It's like, the main game I play right now is Ghost Recon, Ghost Recon Wildlands. And I just knew, like, if I had more games, I'll be putting way more hours in. It's like, it's too much. So I think I'm gonna just my next purchases, I'm gonna limit them to 2 games, because you got fucking Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding. You got goddamn, what's the other game? This oh my god, this another zombie game. Oh fuck, I can't think of the name of that shit. Yo, I did. I got all the way through Watch Dogs, and that's what I'm trying to do before I even get more games. Cause like, and I tried to play goddamn The Witcher 3 again. It's something. No, not World War Z. It's the dude Days Gone. Days Gone. That shit look good as fuck. Oh my god, Days Gone looks so good, but I ain't gonna have time to play all that shit, man. That game look hot as fuck, yo. Yo, that in the Walking Dead, they're making that shit like I don't know. It looks better. It's not like that Telltale style of gameplay like that new Walking Dead looks like The Last of Us or some shit like that, yo. Oh yeah. I'll show you guys some work. But yeah, there's so much stuff coming out right now. It's like, I can't get all these games. That shit is gonna distract me so bad. I already know, like, as soon as I get The Last of Us 2, that's like 30 hours a stretch, like, gone. Like, I'm just gonna like a day and a half, I'm just gonna be on that shit. And then I can imagine, like, having like Red Dead and even Detroit Become Human. I wanted to get that game, and I was like, nah. I just watched people stream it instead. It's so cool. The story is so cool, man. But instead of playing it myself, and that's what like I said, I'd rather do that shit nowadays. Just find a cool ass streamer who, a good personality who can play for a stretch at a time, and I'll just watch somebody else play the game, man. Fuck it. I'm 37. Yes, this is a commission piece. This is not for me, so this piece is already purchased. It already has a home waiting for it as soon as I can get it done. So, yeah. It's always good to get a commission, it's an anniversary gift. I say it's just certain parts are taking some time to dry. In a minute, I'm going to work on his hand. You can see the hand is a little bit darker than all the other skin tones. Always start dark to light. You just got to brighten it up as you go. This is a good piece right here. This is a part of my Black Love series. It's always good to show that black love. Ooh, ooh. Skin so pretty. The hair got texture to it. The hair has texture on it. Make it look nappy. Them tight coils. Nah, I've really been focusing on it, and plus it's a smaller canvas than what this is just my standard size commission canvas. This is 24 inches and by 18 inches compared to that's like a 28 by 30 by 28, and that's a 36 48. So yeah, smaller canvas. The only thing about the smaller canvas, it goes quick and fast in some instances. It's just trying to detail it and get the details in there. You have to use smaller brushes, and that can take a while. It gets frustrating sometimes, but it's that challenge, to pack as many details as you can into a smaller area. Whereas the details on this is easy because shit, it's hand size. Her hand is bigger than my hand. It's like, so I can. It's easier to add the details to her eye in the lighting and everything, and on the rose, opposed to trying to add detailing on his cheek and around his ear is very, it makes it difficult actually. I can't help it. Somebody, I got the rapid disease. Another piece in the Black Love series. This is the same dude. It's not the same girl though. Ain't that some shit? Same guy? Yeah, same guy. Different girl. Different girl. They both got dreads. You notice the tattoos? See, no tattoos on that arm. See her tats? She got tattoos on her forearm, on her shoulder. See, that's a different girl. Ain't he lucky? Black Love. This is a part of my reader series. Black people reading books written by black people. Very, very inspirational, if I say so myself. This is another one of my favorite paintings. Oh yeah, my man. Oh yeah, I got another painting of him with a girl, and I did a drawing of him. I think he's handsome, man. That's my homie. He's a model from Atlanta, and actually, the girl here that's his girlfriend. So that's a couple. But he models with other girls all the time, yo. And like, you go to his page. His Instagram is Father93 until. Father93 until. And check out some of his photography, yo. The dude is fucking dope as fuck. He's dope as shit. That's a drawing I did. Just in case y'all want to take a screenshot of that, I'll hold that right there. Y'all can take a screenshot if you like. Or where does he get his information from? I'm trying to show you right now. Take a screenshot. Where do you know all this stuff from? I'm trying to show you. It's in my art. All you gotta do is look at my paintings, man. Some more from the Reader series, because I like to read. Some more from the Reader series, because I like to read. R, reading is cool. E, it's educational too. A, you can add to your knowledge. So D, just do it. Hey, reading is cool. Oh, my bad. So I'm working on this piece. It's not even halfway done yet, but it will be soon. As soon as I can get this piece wrapped up, I'll start back on this piece again. There's some paintings back there. There's my butt. This is from the Complex Ion series. If you put the two words together, complex and ion, you get complexion. Haha, that is very deep on many levels. So, it's so deep I showed my butt. This is my latest masterpiece. And when this one is dry all the way, I need to... Oh, I got my other one in the basement. I forgot. That shit has been sitting down there for like a week. I better go pull that up. But, as a matter of fact, I might put this one in the basement and pull the other one up. Because I can put a varnish on this now. I think it's dry enough. That black takes forever to dry. This shit has been sitting here for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It might be. Yeah, but I honestly forgot I had a painting in the basement. I'm gonna go grab that right now, guys. Real quick. Be right back. Kush, yeah, I gotta accept your request so I can check out your stream too, bro. I'm getting hungry. Damn, I've been here almost 2 hours. I gotta get something to eat. Bro, I ain't ate all morning. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what I'm doing to myself. Peace, guys.
Hi, this is Brian Forster coming to you from Caracas in Peru. And I want to give you an update as to the recently released DNA results of the Paracas people. Now, it's taken us 5 years since we began this process to actually get the results. It took almost 3 years to get, or 2.5 to get permission from the Ministry of Culture of Peru, who we worked with very closely, especially with archaeologist Ruben Soto, in order to have the DNA testing approved by the government. A total of 18 skulls was tested, and results came back from 12. The DNA was so badly degraded after 2,000 to 3,000 years that of the 58 samples of 18 skulls, we got results from 12 of the skulls from 2 different laboratories, one in Canada, the Lakehead University, and another one at UCLA in California. A third lab was also utilized at Santa Cruz, University of California, but they stated that of the, I think, 18 samples they were given, no results were forthcoming. We're not sure if that's true, or whether the results were so bizarre that they decided to hide them. So, in what I can basically tell you is that all Native American people of 100% Native ancestry are supposed to be and were of the haplogroups A, B, C, and D.
So this is one of the Paracas elongated skulls. This is one that we believe is natural in shape. And as I turn it, you will see the complexity of the design. See all that amazing curvature. And basically there's a depression here where the two hemispheres would be. The eye sockets are very large. And there is a lack of a sagittal suture here. So the results that we got, 4 of the elongated skulls were of haplogroup B, which relates to the fact that there was Native American ancestry involved, but the other ones were not. And the most common haplogroups that
I have painted other things besides people. I don't have any examples here. Yeah, but I've done other things, still lifes, and yeah, I think that's my new favorite painting. Not really. I have a good relationship with my local UPS. It's a locally owned franchise. I know the owner himself. They have like they have custom boxes for my art because I ship so much stuff through them. Like after a while, instead of like they kept modifying boxes for me, but now I have like anywhere from 10 to 15 boxes just for me at their store. So whenever I bring some art there, they're just like, oh, okay, we use this box. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even ask them to do it. They just like, yo, it just makes it easier for us. It actually saves you money because for a while they had to customize a larger box, and so they still had to charge me for a box that was too big for some of my paintings, and they had to trim it down because the one size down was too small. It was weird. So he's like, fuck it, dude, we'll just make you custom boxes and save both of us money. And like I've never had anybody complain about receiving art. I've sent a drawing to Australia. I've sent a painting to Japan. I've sent a painting to Alaska. I've sent a painting to Amsterdam, Holland, like all across America. Like everywhere I ship my art, like I've never had anybody complain about anything. Yeah, so they ship the hell out of that hell, you know. They get it done, you know what I'm saying? And it's always a fairly decent price too for shipping. Oh yeah. Alright, let me work on this hand, and then I gotta get something to eat, bruh. I'm hungry as hell. Ooh, boy, I'm so hungry. Slippers. I'm chilling.
You want to stay cool when you're feeling hot, but running your air conditioner all day? That's a lot.
Okay, we're at a police/military base here in the Nile Delta. I'm
trying to find something interesting.
So mainstream archaeologists are saying that the oldest ruins in the world, up until recently, were the ones in Malta. And these ruins here at Malta, and these ones here, Giganteja, which is on the island of Gozo in Malta. And archaeologists were saying that these were about 9,000 years old, about 7,000 BC. And in fact, on Malta is this cave called the Gardalam Cave, and it's evidence of a big cataclysm that hit Malta, a huge wave that wiped Malta out, and Malta at that time must have been at least a series of islands and maybe a land bridge to Sicily, and a bunch of pygmy elephants and hippopotami and other deer were washed into this cave, and so they know that some kind of cataclysm hit Malta. But now, mainstream archaeologists are saying that the oldest ruins in the world are in Göbekli Tepe, this place which is in southern Turkey.
So, the last, I want to try to get a better angle on this too for you guys. So this is the one with the dress is the last piece I finished, and I started working on this piece, but then a client contacted me and wanted a commission, and so every time I get a commission, I always stop what I'm doing, because that's not, nobody's paying me to do that. I'm just doing it because I want to, because I love to paint. So instead of me working on my own project, I set that to the side, and now I'm going to finish this commission, which is a paid project. And once I get this out the way and get this to its owner, I'll jump back on that piece. And then there's, you can't see it now, but I started another painting, and then I have some photographs for some more stuff that I got coming up. So just try to stay busy. Stay busy, my friend. It's always good to stay busy. Always have something to paint. Have you guys ever heard of Göbekli Tepe?
And at Göbekli Tepe, it is a megalithic site. Archaeologists are saying that this is 11 to 12,000 years old, going back to nearly 10,000 BC. It has many T-shaped megaliths, and on many of them are animals like foxes and serpents, and vultures are carved into it. This site was also purposely buried after it was, at some point after it was built. It's being excavated right now by German archaeologists. And this is all totally mainstream archaeology. Here's where it is, Göbekli Tepe. It's right near the Syrian border, actually, in the conflict zone. The largest megaliths in the world that we know about are actually at Baalbek in Lebanon. And this is Baalbek. It's also near the Syrian border, and it's kind of a dangerous place to go. And what's there are these, a Roman temple is on top, but below it is a giant platform of blocks of limestone. Here are the blocks again. Right here, these giant blocks. They weigh about 1,000 tons. which is extremely heavy for a stone. Some of the actually bigger stones, well, like 1,200 tons, are actually in the quarry nearby. And so archaeologists are looking at this, and the builders here they're building with blocks of stone that are just so incredibly big, so large that it boggles our builders here they're building with blocks of stone that are just so incredibly big, so large that
That's the thing, like the Nazca lines is different. The Nazca lines are etched into the earth. They're huge as fuck. Some people say, oh, you can only see them from the sky. But some people say, well, actually, if you're on the hill adjacent to some of the lines, you can actually see the whole image. Maybe they had a grid system, just like most artists do. So you take a smaller image and you draw a grid on it. And you know, in square 1-1 you have this shape, in square 1-2 you have this shape, in square 1-3 you have this shape. And so maybe if they drew a grid on a smaller image and then marked out a grid on the earth itself in squares and then just drew, carved the lines in through the squares, that's a pretty logical way to get the Nazca lines. But how do you cut that? The Nazca lines are fucking weird. They're fucking amazing as shit. But how do you cut that?
The bigger stones, well, like 1,200 tons, are actually in the quarry nearby. And so archaeologists are looking at this, and the builders here they're building with blocks of stone that are just so incredibly big, so large that it boggles our mind. Why would people even try to build?
And that's like that's my main question too. Damn, he said always what I say, like, why do it so big? If you can cut a stone that big, obviously you can cut smaller hand-sized bricks or cinder blocks like we use today. It's not, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, there's a lot of hypotheses about water, even like drilling holes or finding some way to bore a hole and filling it with water and freezing it, and there's all kind of theories on how they did it, on how they cut us. Okay, no matter how they cut, why is it so big? Why does it have to be 100,000 tons? If you can cut a stone that large with that precision, you can cut smaller stones with just as precise precision. Like, I'm really not getting it. But they did that shit, and they built these fucking megalithic structures. And I'm gonna go see some of these motherfuckers, yo. I went and got applied for my passport. I'm going to fucking Peru. Going to see the Incas shit. I'm going to see Teotihuacan. I want to go see motherfucking the Giza Plateau. I'm gonna go see all these shits. I want to go to Baalbek. I want to check that shit out. Yo, I watched this shit on Baalbek. Oh my god, that shit looks so fucking crazy. Like, who the fuck built that shit, yo?
Blocks of stone like this. Mainstream archaeologists have to explain this. And here's how they do it. They're saying that the builders, and they're saying Romans in this case, would build a cage around these giant blocks, and they would put in the blocks small hourglass type cuttings, and then they would have little hourglass inserts that would fit into that, and then pulleys on the cage, and then they would, once it was all set up, they would pull on these ropes and they would lift this 1,000-ton block up and move it a few inches and then start in. So this is their explanation for how people are doing this. But you have to think, why would you even want to build out of such giant blocks of stone and do something which seems to be so incredibly difficult? And of course, anti-gravity or levitation, and it's my postulation that, yeah, they're doing this, it's easy for them, not so hard. Now this is actually a rare photo of Jerusalem and the Temple Mount there, where the Dome of the Rock and King Solomon's temple was. And inside of a temple, inside of a cave, and it's only recently you could see this, there is this giant block of stone, like at Baalbek. And it's also weighing like 1,000 tons or something. And in fact, there's other blocks down here. Let's see, all right, here we go. And you can see other blocks of stone here. They're perfectly fitted. They're also probably weighing 10, 20 tons. And then this gigantically huge block that's above it. So what's at Baalbek is also, in a sense, at the temple in Jerusalem. All right, let's now go to Abydos in Egypt. This is southern Egypt. Abydos has the Sirion, that's what this building is. It's near to Luxor in Egypt. And in fact, the Egyptian government spent decades pumping water out of this because it was mainly in a swamp underwater. And the pharaonic temple of Abydos is right next to it. There's no hieroglyphs or any kind of indication that the Egyptians themselves built this. In fact, they built another temple right next to it. But let's look at some of the blocks. You see these curious knobs here. You see this little notching of the stones that notch and fit them together, that it's not perfectly straight lines of stone. So now let's go to Cuzco in the Andes of Peru. And we start to see this granite construction that's perfectly fitted together blocks. It's polygonal. You can't get a razor blade or a piece of paper in between these finely cut blocks. This is the famous stone of 12 angles, also in an alleyway right near the central square in Cuzco. And this stone appears on the 12 angles. It's polygonal. You can't get a razor blade or a piece of paper in between these finely cut blocks. This is the famous stone of 12 angles, also in an alleyway right near the central square in Cuzco. And this stone appears on the label of the local beer that they make. They've recently found another stone which has even more angles than this, has like 13 angles. So when you go to Cuzco, this is actually right down the street, you see this polygonal-shaped jigsaw fitting of the blocks, and even other fine megalithic construction that seems a little bit different at a later period up above it. This kind of blocks, they're perfectly fitted together and they lock together. In even the big earthquakes that hit South America all the time, these walls stay together. This is a site actually in northern Greece, and it's called the Necromonticon, and it was underground.
LA! Am I crazy? Are their palm trees greener than ours?
It's just because it was only excavated in 1960, and it's in a remote part of Greece, up near the Albanian border. And in fact, it has the same jigsaw pattern of megalithic construction, just like we see in Cuzco. Let's go back to Cuzco, and just above the city of Cuzco is a giant fortress on a hill, and it's called Sacsayhuaman. The Spanish and the Incas fought a battle here at one point. This is an aerial photo of Sacsayhuaman. You can see this zigzag pattern of these giant walls. And there's a huge field. And over here, it's like a big football field or something. And it would be a place for, say, a giant airship or something like that to land. Huge polygonal-shaped walls here too, and blocks that are fitted together. This is actually a gal from Sydney went on one of our tours, Karen Kelly. And you can see here again, this polygonal-shaped blocks fitted together. It's a kind of indestructible kind of megalithic construction. Sacsayhuaman is an astonishing place. The Spanish, when they got there, they couldn't believe it. They thought that the devil himself that built these buildings. And around Sacsayhuaman, too, is this unusual areas where you have blocks of stone that are upside down. People have cut like stairways and things like that in it, and it doesn't make any sense. There just seems to be no reason for someone to come here and cut and carve this. It's like somebody who has power tools is just playing with them and practicing with their stone cutting devices and things like that. There's other areas there around Sacsayhuaman where there's tunnels cut into solid rock, and the popular legend around Cuzco is that the big treasure of the Incas and the gold from the Sun Temple there is hidden in these underground tunnels that go throughout Cuzco and the Sacsayhuaman area. Mainstream archaeologists are saying that the Incas didn't know the wheel, they didn't know about writing, that they were actually a very primitive culture. And yet, they wanted to build with giant megalithic blocks weighing 20, 100, 200 tons, and perfectly fitting them together. So, in theory, yeah, they're just using muscle power, they're dragging them up ramps, and they're placing them in these walls, and they have to perfectly fit together, too. They can't just stack up these rocks and things. They have to be perfectly fitted. This is Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is today the #1 tourist site in all of South America. And Machu Picchu is a megalithic city. It's a secret city built on top of a mountain. And we don't even know its name. It's not, the name of the city is not Machu Picchu, really. It's something else. The Spanish never found this city, and it wasn't really discovered until about 1910. At Machu Picchu are megalithic walls out of granite. This one is pulling apart from settling. Notice again these knobs and things like that up here. Also the notching of the stones, big lichen patches. This is another wall at Machu Picchu, perfectly fitted blocks, huge lichen patches, and that's usually indicative of a great age. Although the Incas were a culture that was very near to the Spanish, and mainstream archaeologists are saying this city was built only like 100 years or so before the Spanish got there. And yet it would really seem to be many thousands of years old. This is one of my favorite sites in Peru, and it is a place called Ollantaytambo. And what tourists are seeing when they go to Ollantaytambo is they go up here to these cliffs, and it's a knife ridge that comes out, and it's cliffs on both sides. And up here are these megaliths. To go up there, you walk up these terraces and up these stairs, and then you walk up here and up these stairs, and eventually you get up to this part up here, and then you start to walk over to the really megalithic part of the city. And as you go up the stairs, this is what you see. So you suddenly see, again, megalithic blocks of granite perfectly fitted together, these curious knobs, which archaeologists cannot really explain, perfectly fitted together, and also large blocks with patches of lichen, indicating what would seem to be great age. So here's part of that wall again. So we're moving through. Once again, we'll look at it really closely. Perfectly fitted polygonal blocks. And this is what is so difficult. These little corners here. This would be very, very difficult to do. And mainstream archaeologists are saying, yeah, the Incas are just bashing this out with a stone hammer in their hand and doing this. And it would seem to really be that, yeah, they're using power tools. And we'll get more into that. Eventually, as you get up to the main part of Ollantaytambo, this is what you see. You see giant blocks of red granite lying around, and you see this wall. This is the main wall, and the tourists go and stand there and have photos taken. And it is 7 huge granite blocks here, and it's kind of a unique wall too, because it has these very thin sheets of granite between each one. Once again, we see some of these curious knobs. We don't know what they're for. And there's part of what's called an Andean cross is also cut into the rock right there. As you go around the corner to the right of this, you see this huge wall. Again, giant blocks of red granite weighing, say, up to 200 tons or something are stacked there. Unusual pillows right here, we don't know what that's for. Once again, we have a notching here of this block, but then we have this crummy fill right here. And the mainstream archaeologists are saying, well, yeah, this is how the Incas wanted to build. They would just drag this giant block up here, and then they would just fill it in with this crummy rubber. And clearly, really, what we're seeing here is what we would call Atlantean construction, or alien construction, or even Anunnaki construction.
You don't have to go if you don't want to go. We could just watch a movie on HBO.
Oh, no. Oh.
And then here's your Inca construction right here. So as you're looking at Ollantaytambo like this, I mean, this is how it looks today. This is how it looked when the Spanish conquered Peru, and it's how it looked in the Inca times. And the Peruvian government, they can't move these blocks. No one can move them around. And in fact, not even the Incas. As you go up and you look at some of these blocks, you also see really this fine articulation, and these blocks are just lying around. This one, people have been bashing it with hammers and stuff. Really fine articulated edges, very smooth. I mean, it's perfectly smooth, like some saw has just cut it perfectly. And as you look at some of these blocks, we see this, and these are called keystone cuts. This is a keystone cut here, and this is a keystone cut right there, and here's a close-up. So keystone cuts are T-shaped or hourglass-shaped, and sometimes circular-shaped cuts in the stone in which molten metals are poured into it. And they only work because you're going to have another block that's fitted to it. So the metal clamp is then poured, and it's spanning two blocks of stone. And in fact, these giant blocks you wouldn't think are really going anywhere, but yet this is in this unusual way of fitting giant blocks with keystone cuts and clamps is a way of additionally sort of holding these blocks together and keeping them from moving in say, earthquakes and things. So we'll go around the corner, and we're going to be seeing more of these keystone cuts as we go along. Now this is another block, and it has a keystone cut in it too. Only this is a block that's in the wrong place. Keystone cuts have to be on a vertical surface. They can't be on a horizontal surface like this. And of course, another block of stone with a keystone cut would be on it, but it can't be like this. It's because molten metals have to be poured into it. It's got to be on a horizontal, flat surface. So this is a block of stone that's in the wrong place. Somebody has moved it. It's not meant to be here. So even in ancient times, somebody was moving this block and putting it in another place to use it for something else. We're now seeing Ollantaytambo from across the Urubamba River. We're on our way up to the quarry. Here is Ollantaytambo. It's up here on this knife ridge up here. You can see what is part of a ramp going up. And it's interesting to look at this field, which is a field of barley and corn and potatoes and stuff. But notice how it's an illusion of a pyramid right there, and even with a door and stuff. So they've actually created their field to be a sort of an illusion of a pyramid from the distance here. Now mainstream archaeologists too are saying that, oh yeah, the Incas just had to get 1,000 guys all together hauling these giant blocks up this ramp, but they couldn't figure where all those people stood when they got up onto the knife ridge. So that was the problem for them. And that's something we'll go on today a lot. I mean, the mainstream has to explain some of this stuff, and their explanations are worth examining. As you get up to the quarry, which is high up on a mountain on the other side of the Urubamba River, and these giant blocks then also had to cross this river, and they can't figure out how they did that. And you get up to the quarry. Most tourists never get up here. It's an all-day ride on horses. I've been up here like 3 times. And once you get up there, what you see is this huge scree field of red granite boulders are just lying around. And what the stonemasons did was they would take as big a boulder as they could, and they would square it and dress it up here at the quarry. And like, here's one of the blocks here. So they're dressing this block. Notice the big lichen patches on it too. And in this case, they were starting to saw this block, but they stopped. There was some flaw they discovered in the rock. It probably had some crack that they didn't see before. And once they saw that crack, then they stopped pouring it. And this is the same thing that happened to the unfinished obelisk in Aswan, if you go there. And in fact, you see how they were sawing it here, and it's like some giant saw was up there, just sawing these blocks of stone like a loaf of bread. Also what's up there is this big stone wheel that's also been perfectly cut and smooth, like some Fred Flintstone wheel of the Stone Age or something. And the Incas supposedly didn't know about the wheel. And yet, allegedly, they're making giant stone wheels up at the quarry and then just leaving them there. All right, now let's go to Cusco, back to Cusco, and the famous Sun Temple in Cusco, which is called the Coricancha. And it too is a megalithic building, but the Incas used it because it was an indestructible building, and they put their Sun Temple there. Much of it was wallpapered with sheets of gold. And you have this. You have these special doors at the Coricancha, the Sun Temple. And they have got, right now there's plexiglass. Right now the Peruvian government's put in front of it to protect it from all the tourists there. Yeah. And it's very articulated. It's got drill holes, it's got little channels. It's like some kind of machine was placed in this door, and there was places for cables to go into it, like electrical cables. And perhaps it was like some kind of we don't know what was there. Maybe like a big television screen or something like that. Mainstream archaeologists are saying, well, yeah, they did all this, placed it, and it's cool there. Much of it was wallpapered with sheets of gold. And you have this. You have these special doors at the Coricancha, the Sun Temple. And they have got, right now there's plexiglass. Right now the Peruvian government's put in front of it to protect it from all the tourists there. And it's very articulated. It's got drill holes, it's got little channels. It's like some kind of machine was placed in this door, and there was places for cables to go into it, like electrical cables. And perhaps it was like some kind of we don't know what was there. Maybe like a big television screen or something like that. Mainstream archaeologists are saying, well, yeah, they did all this, and it was really to, hang some tapestries and, put some ropes on, stuff like that. All right, now we'll go up to the Altiplano, the high plateau of Peru and Bolivia, and we're right along the west side of Lake Titicaca, and this is a place called Cotimbo. Cotimbo is a place of buildings up on top of a high plateau. You go up there, you have to walk up these trails, and then you come up this trail here, up to a cliff right here, and then you get up to the top. And in fact, right just near the top is this place, which is also very kind of curious. It's like someone took this cliff wall, and then with some kind of power tool, they just cut along it here, and then they polished this whole part, and for no real reason. I mean, you can't see why they would do this. Again, it's just like they have power tools, and they're just playing with them, doing stuff, practicing, doing things with their power tools just because they can. Once you get up to the top of Cotimbo, you start to see these buildings. Some are towers, some are these square buildings. They're perfectly fitted, blocks of stone, and there's a pillow kind of shaping to them. And you start to see things like animals that are carved in relief on them. In many cases, serpents are very common, but there's other things too. Pumas, mountain lions are carved also in relief. And even to carve these things in relief, you have to cut the whole rest of the stone away and leave that little bit of a serpent or a fox or a puma or something there. What we saw also at Göbekli Tepe. These are some stones at a wall in Cusco, and most of the stones there don't have serpents and things carved into them, but some of them do. So once again, we're seeing serpents just cut in relief in these stones. And if you go to northern Iraq, to the Yazidi temples that are up there, and this is the area of the Kurds, you also see their ancient temples have that too. They have these serpents caught into the rocks. And in fact, this is thought to be the oldest religion in the world, and coming ultimately from ancient Sumeria. And today they're more or less under siege by the conflict in Iraq and Syria. As you move farther along the western edge of Lake Titicaca, you come to this place, and it is this door that's carved into solid rock. It's a rocky ridge that's vertical coming out, and then there's this strange door. And this really wasn't discovered till about 15 years ago that tourists started to go to it. Although you can see it from the road, but it was just finally noticed, and people go there now. And so oftentimes the tourists will stop and they'll go here. As you get up there, this little indentation here is about the height of a person, about 6 feet tall. You have these channels, it's cut up here, also pretty good stone masonry. This white here is actually bird guano. People say that they have interdimensional experiences. Some people spend the night meditating here. It's sometimes called the Devil's Door, sometimes called the Gate of Amaru Muru, and some people say, yeah, it's an interdimensional doorway, a stargate, or something like that. And in Egypt, you have the same thing. You have these false doors. They're just caught into solid rock, and they're going nowhere. And this one is in Giza, near the pyramids, and it's very similar, almost identical false door. Here it's partly buried with rubble right there. Okay, so this is Lake Titicaca. Lake Titicaca is the highest navigable lake in the world. It's nearly 13,000 feet in the Andes. There's a lot of UFO activity here. People claim that they see, usually in the middle of the night, UFOs coming out of the lake, flying around. It's a very common belief there. There are underwater ruins in Lake Titicaca, especially around the Island of the Sun. Even Jacques Cousteau went there and did a special. He was also looking for underwater ruins. There was an Italian-German report from a few years ago, and these are divers. Diving in this lake is extremely difficult. You have to use mixed gases and stuff like that because of the high altitude. The water's also very cold. And they maintain that there was a gold obelisk underwater near the Gate of the Sun. One of the other oddball things about Lake Titicaca is that it has seahorses in it. And biologists can't really explain that. Seahorses normally live in the ocean, in tropical oceans, like around Indonesia and stuff like that. And that there would be seahorses in a lake at nearly 13,000 feet in the Andes is not something that's easily explained. And they can't explain it. James Churchward, who was a British colonel in India in the late 1800s. He later moved to the United States, and he wrote the famous book, The Lost Continent of Mu, and Nexus has that back there for sale. And he wrote a bunch of other books. He also, by the way, was the inventor of stainless steel, and he became a multimillionaire in the early 20s. Because he had a royalty from Bethlehem Steel because he was that inventor. So he was a pretty cool guy. And what he thought and claimed, he believed in this lost continent of Mu, and that South America had been somehow much down near ocean level, and the whole Amazon basin was a sea linked to the Atlantic, and that the area of Titicaca was kind of a Panama Canal of ancient times that was connected to the ocean. And then later, in some cataclysmic pole shift that rearranged the continents, South America was lifted up many thousands of feet to where it is now, and Lake Titicaca is like what's left of that. And in that kind of a cataclysmic pole shift, and Churchward believed in that, I mean, that would have sent massive tidal waves all over the world and to Australia, wiping out and washing over entire continents and things like that. So, near the southern edge of Lake Titicaca is the famous ruins of Tiwanaku. And this is the Sun Gate, they call it, at Tiwanaku. It's kind of the symbol of the city. It's a giant megalithic city built mainly out of andesite, a type of granite. You see here, this is what's called a monolithic doorway. It's actually been cracked by an earthquake or having been fallen over. You see here that coming down the side, perfectly straight, but then you have this circular, and then the wall carries on here, but slightly inward. So yeah, other massive walls and giant blocks would have been fitted together here. This guy in the middle is supposedly Viracocha, ancient god of the Andes. He's wearing a big feathered headdress, the way we imagine American Indians with their big feathered headdresses and stuff. And he's got two scepters on either side, and he's also crying. There are tears coming down his cheeks. And they call those tears of the sun.
Tears of the sun.
Archaeologists believe that that's symbolic of liquid metals that are coming from the site. And in fact, it would seem that Tiwanaku was at least at some point, a huge metallurgical factory inside.
Alright guys, I'm gonna get out of here because I'm hungry. And I wanna go grab something to eat.